Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Power Up by PNM podcast hour in partnership with the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, featuring some of our community's favorite leaders and small business owners. So plug in your favorite device, grab a sack lunch and your favorite beverage, and join us every Tuesday at noon to meet the movers and shakers in our community that are not letting anything hold them back. We are here to inspire you to continue to grow and scale your small business venture. Don't forget to call us at 505-842-9003 for all of your PPE supply needs. And for this podcast and any and all other information about the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, visit us at www.ahcnm.org/chamber chat. We'll give you another minute if you are joining us live. So I just remembered to turn my phone down. Catching up on my text messages for the first minute of all of the intro. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday lunch hour, powered up by PNM podcast. Thanks to all who are listening, and thanks to everybody who's watching on Facebook Live. We appreciate it. We're excited today. We have a great guest. But before we get started, just a couple little things. Just remember, the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber, in partnership with PNM, is proud to host the Power Up by PNM every Tuesday podcast hour, where we get to kind of get to know leaders in the community, people that are doing the movers and shakers of the community a little bit better. I like to say on a little bit more intimate level, but I think we're going to find out, let you guys find out here in just a minute. But before we get started, I want to talk to you and remind you that the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber is your one-stop shop for all PPE. It's yours. We must give it away. We want you to have it. So all you got to do is go to our website, www.ahcnm.org, and go to community engagement, click on the little PPE line, and once inside, just register, and you'll get a phone call back, and we'll schedule a time for you to come pick up from here at the chamber. And also make a notation. I believe it's the last Friday of February, although we have not yet announced it, so it's not official till it's on Facebook. I know the rules, but a little precursor, save the date. We're going to be doing a community day, a PPE drive. We're going to be having a lot of businesses involved, so that day you can plan in the morning. It'll be a drive-through. You're going to get lots of fun surprises and gifts and handouts, and there will be drawings and, of course, boxes of PPE given away. So we'll give you more information. Just stay tuned for that. Don't forget, the end of the month, the last Wednesday of the month, is our Biz Gratis mashup. We had a great one last month, so always remember the last Wednesday of every month. And hopefully after this first quarter, we'll be able to do in live person events again. We're excited to see you guys back. And so just remember, for now it's virtual, but again, you can go to the website, community calendar, register online. And of course, next Tuesday, stay tuned, because we're going to be interviewing Aaron Gondara, owner of Elevar Business Consultants, who also happens to be our board treasurer. So we're pretty excited about the group that we've rounded up this year. We have amazing leaders in our community, and several of them sit on the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber board, and we really want you guys to get a chance to meet them. So today we have with us absolutely one of my favorite people in the whole world, Mr. Joe Trimble. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shannon. I like that. One of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, in the whole world. Joe and I go way back. And you'll get to find out a little bit about that today. But in the meantime, Joe, we're excited. I think we should probably start with, your title and who you work with, and then I can give a little bit of history about how your company is so involved with the chamber.
Yeah, absolutely. So my role and what I get to do every day is support small businesses in a multi-state region. So I actually live here still in Albuquerque, where I'm raising my almost 13-year-old daughter.
Almost a teenager.
I know.
We got to talk about her in a minute.
Yeah, no joke. But here raising her, and I have an opportunity to telecommute now, or Zoom commute, depending on what you want to call it.
I like that. Can you please make a note of that, Angelique? Zoom commute.
Yeah, Zoom commute.
I'll be there in a minute, all the way to New York.
Yeah, no joke. And, I get to interact not only in New Mexico, but I support Arizona, Nevada, and Southern California. So I get to small businesses, but more importantly, get to work with organizations like this great chamber that I have an opportunity to be a part of.
So that's kind of awesome when you think about it. I never thought about it till now. I mean, I know what you do and I know where you're at, and you're usually traveling about 300 days a year, except for obviously this year. So it must be kind of awesome to be home. And we'll get to that in a minute. But you get to work with businesses in many different communities across this Southwest region, and including into California. And so let's talk about that just for a minute, because that's interesting to me. The business climate in Las Vegas versus maybe Utah versus maybe San Diego versus Albuquerque. So let's talk about that a minute.
Yeah, so I have to start with New Mexico first and kind of level set. The one thing I think we do well here is we value the community around the small business owners, and our economy and our small business owners in general, we know have been hit hard with the pandemic.
Sure.
And each have their own challenges. Here in New Mexico, what we find most challenging is making sure that our business owners are in the know and that we can support them through great resources like WellsFargo Works and even our Small Business Resource Center that can open the door to learning more about being in business. But when we compare New Mexico to the others, that community...
It's okay. Nobody's going to know I paid you under the table. Tell the truth.
Yeah, well, and I was going to say, what the difference is and that I see here is we have that community approach. I just don't know if we activate enough on that piece of it or actually make it happen as quick as some of the others. And, when I think about Vegas, hit hard in the tourism business.
Sure,
I
yeah.
mean, it's been a struggle, and working with the local chambers there, trying to get them back to bringing those events into Vegas will turn that corner. But right now, we're just on that holding pattern and can't really do much.
So speaking of Vegas, I just have to say, I remember about a year ago having a conversation with you. You were touring the new Raider Stadium. I literally was like, hey, Jai, I need to talk to you a minute. You're like, hey, do you know where I'm at right now? So I can only imagine what they've been through. I mean, I know what we're going through.
Exactly.
Tourism's our third largest industry here in the state, so I get that. But I know Vegas is hugely impacted.
Yeah, well, and that's where I think as a community, we have to stretch ourselves into different capacities. It's that saying, do you put all your eggs in one basket? And, for us in small business, it's really understanding what our businesses are and how do they impact the local economy. And, not just the tourism industry, we can think about the hotels, but scale that down. I mean, what about the small businesses that cater those events?
Sure.
What about the small business owners who shuttle those people?
What
to
about
and
all the
from?
printing?
Yes.
What about the decorations,
Yep.
the lighting, the AV, I mean, I know. I mean, I live it
just
every day here.
multiplies.
Yeah.
And then we see it in other states, Southern California,
Sure.
lack of space, unfortunately. We have the ability with the weather to go outside, but there's not much space to be able to do that. In Arizona, we see it feels very similar to what we see here. Businesses in certain industries are hit harder.
Sure.
But one thing that I know in Albuquerque is, we had different guidelines that we had to abide by.
Yeah.
And that's why, I tell every business owner that I come in contact with, if you don't have a chamber relationship, you got to get one right away.
Well, it's interesting. You've always been a huge advocate of the chamber. You're pretty involved, the chamber in Arizona as well, in Phoenix. I know Arizona's open. And so just the communications that we have with friends and family, and also our relationship with the Arizona Hispanic Chamber, I know that they're, they're living different right now. Everything's a little bit different. We hope to be there soon. We're ready to open here in New Mexico. We hear you, small businesses, and we're doing everything we can. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But I want to bring it back home for a minute. And so you've been on the board here for now a couple of years at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber, and you've just earned a new title this year.
Yes.
So pretty excited. Congratulations, Mr. Chair-elect. You will be our board chair in 2022.
Yeah, I can't. It's still a shock. Not in a bad way. Obviously, I've worked hard to also bring to this chamber everything that I can,
Sure.
capability-wise. But it still sits me back and just reminds me that I still have a lot of work to do. I've just got started, and
I like that.
I know.
I like that.
Just getting
I
started.
like that.
Just getting started. So.
Good, because you got like a whole couple years in front of you, 2-3 years of this, chair-elect, and then chair, and then, our immediate past chair work. So there's going to be a lot of work with you. Speaking of work, you work really hard. I've known you forever. Literally, you've been friends with my family, my brothers, since you guys were.
Yeah, high school, 14 years old.
Yeah, we hide to grasshoppers, or as they say. And so I knew you back then, so I have to know, how did you get started in banking? Was it even a career thought, or was it just like, I have to apply somewhere, and I ended up here?
Yeah, it's
And
actually.
how long have you been with Wells Fargo?
Yeah, so well, that's an easy one. So 20 years now, almost.
Wow.
June will
Really,
be
you're going to
20.
retire before me, Joe?
Yeah, I started literally 1 month out of high school. I was finishing up my high school year at Valley High School here in Albuquerque, and I was in a program called DECA, which gives you exposure into the business community through a variety of different ways. And one of the ways that they help you or support you as a graduating student was to give you practice interviewing for different employers. So I had a
wow.
chance, because of my teacher, to connect me with one of his friends.
Remember your teacher's name?
I do, Mr. Robinson, Bill
Hi,
Robinson.
Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, if he's listening, I would love that. It would be great, anyways. But so he got me connected with one of the branch managers here in Albuquerque, which I had a chance to interview, and I left there, and about a week later, I got a call saying, we loved your personality.
Oh, wow.
You're very upbeat. You're optimistic. We think you'd fit in well here. Have you ever thought about moving to Wells Fargo? And that was, at the time, I was at Dion's Pizza.
Oh, God. Well, another great company.
right?
So, yes, another great
Taught me a
company
lot.
here. Yeah, another great member, but another great company in our community.
Taught me a lot. And, when I thought about banking and what that entailed, not that I didn't love Dion's and love the work that I was doing, but it fit more of my personality. One, I'm a very altruist, so I love to give back. I grew up in this community, and this community has provided me with doors and open doors to do what I'm doing today, and I just feel it necessary that I give that back.
Absolutely.
And I left Dion's to go to Wells Fargo. Didn't have to smell like pizza anymore, which I still eat there.
But no more free lunches.
Yeah, right. I still eat there often, so I still get that.
What's
that
your favorite
niche.
thing at Dion's? You brought it up. I got to know. What's the secret? What's the hack?
So my favorite is, the pizzas, of course.
Yeah.
The specials, especially, if you
Sure.
haven't had it. But I like the subs. I do kind of a combination, so I use the veggie sub and then add ham to it. And so you get all of the toppings in the veggie, bell pepper, olive,
There you guys.
mushroom.
It's a little Dion's hack. I love that because I love veggies. So all I got to throw is some meat on top of that. I love it.
And it makes it cheaper if you throw the meat instead of the other way around.
Wow.
So it's a good insight.
We got a little insider
Right.
on Dion's. Well, we love Dion. So thank you again, Mark and team. We appreciate you guys. Great members here at the Chamber. So here you are. You're now at Wells Fargo at that time. So let's go back even further. So little kid playing around, whatever you did, skateboarding. I mean, I'm sure. I wouldn't know that for sure, but for sure skateboarding. So what were you going to be? What was your thought? What am I going to do? Or did you even get that far before this opportunity hit?
Yeah, I knew exactly what I wanted to do in third grade.
Okay.
I had a medical issue, and after going through that and recovering, I had a chance to meet pediatricians. And so from that point forward, I knew helping people was what I wanted to do. And obviously when I got to college and started to look at, what do I actually want to do for my career, that helping people, I think, was the common thread. It just changed. Instead of medicine, I'm doing finances.
Interesting. Well, if you have that personality like you have and that vision that you have, doesn't matter the industry. There's always a way to give back. And I agree with you. I love working with small businesses every day. And I love what we do here at the Hispano Chamber. And so I'm so glad to take this ride with you. It's pretty exciting. But I do have to ask you, if you could choose any other career, what would it be?
Another easy question. Definitely,
wow.
Definitely a chef. I'm a foodie.
Oh, that's right. I know that about you.
I'm a foodie, so I love trying and experiencing new foods. It kind of ties that small business together because we know our restaurants and our retail are
Sure.
big industries within small business. And I grew up in a family of business owners like you did,
yeah.
so none are restaurant owners. So I think that plus the good food I've had a chance to eat from family members just kind of drove that in me. And
Sure.
I would love to be a chef at a very fancy restaurant.
Like a fine dining,
There you
like
go.
upscale,
Maybe a Michelin
like a
star,
Michelin
yeah,
star restaurant.
something of that
I
nature.
could see you like that.
And I can cook with some directions. Obviously, I have my own creations, but I think my mom, who's definitely the cooker and the baker, that's kind of set that stage. And now my daughter's even in it. She's won
Oh, nice.
first place twice at the state fair.
That's right. I
Yeah.
was about to say, didn't she win at the state fair a
She
couple
did,
years
yeah,
ago?
Yeah, she won first place 2 years in a row. One for one of the times was biscochitos and gingerbread mint, and then another was chocolate chip cookies. So,
Wow,
baking,
I love
anyways.
it. I love it. That's so exciting. So yeah, so a little family of foodies.
Yes,
For
yes.
sure. So foodies, you have the chance. You are also a little bit of a brewery connoisseur, I would say, around town. So I got to know, what is one of your favorite places to eat, and what is one of your favorite places to have a cold 5 o'clock beverage?
Yeah, so since we're inching our way towards lunch, let's start with
We're a little past, but
let's
it's
start with
okay.
the food places. I'm a big steak eater, so I'd have to say, and I'm spacing the name now, Monte Carlo.
Oh.
Have to say Monte Carlo. Yeah, one of my favorites.
Right down the
Yeah,
street.
literally down the street.
Shout out to Monte Carlo. We see them at least a couple times a month here. Their chicken fried steak, phenomenal.
No, anything,
Yum.
you can't go
And
wrong.
their big fries, and
Yep.
that's right. We
Yeah.
love Monte Carlo.
Yeah, I love Monte
great.
Carlo. So I'd have
Do you
to
go
say
in
that.
through the front? Do you go in from the side?
The
How do you
side.
go? Yeah, okay.
Done a lot of pickups
Okay.
since the current environment we're in. And
Well, yeah, but before I loved going in. You get to
same.
walk through the cooler, and you go to
Yeah.
the cool. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. So everybody get out to Monte Carlo. Cool place.
yeah, very cool. Now, beverage-wise, like you said, I'm a big fan of the local craft scene that we
Sure.
have here, from beer to even fine
Spirits,
spirits.
yeah.
And if I were to pick the brewery side of it, I now live above Ponderosa, so got to give them a shout out. But also one of my
Donna
favorite,
and team at Ponderosa, another great set of members. We
Yes,
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, love Donna. And then even on top of that, one of the ones that we've been to for years and years, La Cumbre.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Okay, Jeff and team.
Yeah, Jeff and Laura. Just
Yeah,
are
Jeff and
amazing.
Laura. Shout out to La Cumbre. Great beer. Obviously award-winning. Staples in the community.
And because I'm going to see them this afternoon for Avanzad, I'm going to have to say Frank and Donna from Hollow Spirits.
Well,
so another one of my favorites. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, but great spirits, right?
Yes.
So we're excited to see that actually all three of those that you named have maintained during the best that they could during COVID, and so kudos.
Pivoted.
See, the reason I don't use pivot is because Angelique has this funny little button over there, and when I say the word pivot, she
that's right. You overuse it, huh?
'Cause I use the word
I
pivot.
don't, Angelique, I don't use it a lot, so I may use it a few times.
So we choose our words carefully here
Nice.
because she's in control, but we're excited that they've maintained during this time to the best of their ability, and they did pivot to be able to get through this time. So kudos to all of you out there. We
Yes.
appreciate that. So I want to kind of move on a little bit. So this year has been weird for you. Coming up on a year, I should say, has been a little weird for you, not traveling and
I haven't
staying
been on
at
an airplane
home.
since March 5th.
Oh my God. Okay, so I have to tell you my favorite thing about traveling with Joe. If any of you ever get the opportunity to travel with Joe, I've had the opportunity to do so a few times in the past. Is that you are like beyond a frequent flyer. You are like the number one. Go to the top of the airport, specialty bars, specialty walkthrough, no lines. I will never forget, I don't even remember what city we were in, and there was like, oh, just come all the way to the front. And I was like, what?
Chicago.
There's like freaking lines out the way, and you
Yeah.
were.
I have to say that a lot of that is the benefits the airlines fly.
Yes.
They provide. But yes,
It was super
makes it easy.
exciting. So I'm a little nervous now to see what your mileage is,
Well,
your sky miles.
Give a shout out to Southwest. They actually extended it since we have not flown in this last year. So I've
Nice.
retained the status through the rest of this year, which is great news.
So here's what's interesting. You said maintain status. Now, I don't think that the public is educated on what does that mean. So there's levels of
There is.
frequent flyers. So let's talk about how excited you were when you got to a certain level. We actually celebrated that.
Yeah,
we had a little party over it.
Yeah, so first off is A-list, and I fly mostly Southwest, so that's
Sure.
what I know, so I'll just speak on behalf of that, but definitely A-list and then A-list preferred, so they offer their own benefits from skipping the lines at security
That's the
to
best.
pre-boarding prior to or right after the initial pre-boarders, so that helps, and then after that is companion status. So that one actually helped my mom out quite a bit because her family is in Arizona, and one of my markets that I cover, I actually office out of Phoenix, and when I fly, when I book a ticket, she gets to fly with me.
That
So,
is
so
amazing.
if you can earn companion with Southwest, it's a huge reward. So
So how do you do that?
yeah, that took 100 flights in the air.
Wow.
So you can do it with flights or points. My flights are pretty quick. I'm in the air and down.
Yeah,
pretty
we
quick.
barely get to go up and then you're back down. Yeah, because your area is pretty close anywhere.
Yeah.
Hour, couple hours at the
Yes,
most.
yeah,
Yeah.
a couple hours at the most.
At the most, yeah.
So
Sure.
when you hit 100 flights is what I achieved it with. So
Wow.
yeah,
Exciting.
it was great.
That's pretty crazy. Well, thank you to Southwest Airlines, a huge sponsor, supporter here at the Chamber. So we appreciate that, and we're glad that you keep them in business. So you were here though. You were here for the past year. So let's talk a little bit about what did you do this year? Did you read any good books? And what was your Netflix and chill? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so my number one goal, knowing that I would not be moving as much as I did, was to really fill my calendar. So when I left the day or ended the day, I felt like I made a difference. And to do that, and I'm speaking to the choir with you, Shannon. I know your schedule as well, but I had to find the right activities. But I also had to balance that, because just having an activity on my calendar doesn't make it effective. I have to have a pre-plan, and I have to have a post appointment to finalize any thoughts, capture any notes that I may have had, and then send out recaps to my fellow participants on that call in order to maintain progression in the topics or the projects that I'm working on.
Yeah, it's different now. You're not like walking into a room, a boardroom, a conference room, doing presentations.
Everyone there.
And then everyone's there, and then you can recap at the end, and you can get people's opinions. And you kind of have to do it in a new way, like you said, through this Zoom travel type thing. So you've had to readjust.
Yeah, I know it's been a big adjustment. And some of the techniques carry over, how we facilitate and how we keep the attention of the participants.
Sure,
That's, I think, a little better with Zoom, because when you're on Zoom, you think everyone's looking at you, even though you may be looking at your presentation or maybe looking at your speaking notes, and it just makes it a little different. So I think engagement's there, but it's that, what am I going to do and what are my messages that I want to make sure I convey? So that's the prep. And then the post is that recap where, remember at the end of meetings, we had people that could walk up to you.
Networking.
Yeah, exactly. And
it was called networking. It's a very old word. I get it, everybody. It used to be called networking.
and I would still say networking that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So very interesting. The other portion of that is now your homework. So you get to spend more time with Brookie, more time with your mom, more time baking cookies and chefing as you do. But what else were you doing in this time? Because you, Joe, as a lot of leaders in our community, they really take the time to be soaking up inspiration all around you. And I know you guys are really big readers and you do that stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what you do in that area.
Yeah, actually, it's one of the fun things I get to do with my kiddo, which we haven't reset our goals this year, but she's a big reader, and I'm not so much. I like short and sweet, so podcast, right?
Podcast City.
Podcast. I like news articles. I like, topics that are specific to what I focus on daily, which is small business.
Sure.
So I did read quite a few books during the first part of pandemic, just to really ground myself and reset what I wanted to accomplish. And one of my favorites was One Word That Will Change Your Life. Definitely a book that I read usually once a year.
One word that will change your life.
And
okay.
pretty much the premise of the book is it helps your mind start to think about what you want to accomplish in one word. And
wow, that's pretty heavy.
And so when you read the book, it's very short, so not a long read. It opens up some of these receptors that when you're out and about in the public, you start to recognize certain words over and over again.
That's a huge responsibility for one little word.
It is. And my word for this year, so I did it right after pandemic started, and it was compassion. And then when I did it again at the beginning of this year, my new word is diligent. So
Wow.
anything I do, if I'm not diligent in the work, then I don't feel like I've made that difference at the
So
end
the
of the day.
word is like your mantra. It's
It
like
is.
your thing for the year. I love that. One more time, what's the title of the book?
One word that will change your life.
One word that will change your life. Go out and get that. I want to read that. That's
I
pretty.
have it, so I can bring
Oh,
it to you.
thank you. I love that. How exciting. You said compassion. I thought, my gosh, what a great word for 2020 because everybody lived COVID differently, right? We don't know anybody's story. We don't know how it affected you, didn't affect you. And so we have to maintain compassion in order to get through this crazy time. And then diligence, I love it because it's all about what are we doing purposeful this year? Are we acting diligent in everything that we do and in every way that we conduct meetings and the way that we put events together here at the chamber? Or I love that, Joe. That's very inspiring.
Yeah, and the second
little
book
takeaway.
I throw on there for some positivity, Energy Bus by John Gordon.
Energy
Ano-
Bust
another
by
good
John
one.
Gordon.
So it actually physically has you think about who rides on your bus. And the story behind how
Wow.
it was created is very inspirational. I can give you a real quick rundown. So it's about a gentleman who all of a sudden everything in his life was turned upside down. Work wasn't going the way
COVID?
he wanted exactly right.
I'm
when
sorry, COVID?
right when I started reading, I was like, "Wow, did he know about this before? Maybe I don't know." But when you read the book and the gentleman that's in the book that it's referencing, everything goes upside down. And finally, the last straw that really snaps is his car breaks down, and he has to start
Geez.
taking the bus. And on the bus, he meets the driver who helps him think about his mental abilities based on who's actually in your bus.
Wow.
So you actually think about who gets a ticket to ride my bus that brings that positivity, that brings that success. So surrounds me with people who want me to be successful and who are successful themselves. So all of that is really a big driving factor behind the book.
So, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. Who's on my bus?
Yeah, who is on your bus and who would you give a ticket to and who would you take a ticket away? And what would you tell them on why that happened? And
Oh, wow.
obviously these are very, metaphorically speaking, but it does
Again,
help.
very powerful.
It does.
Because maybe you don't like somebody that's on your bus,
Well-
or you don't have a connection, or you
Or maybe
don't
identify
like,
someone that you need to reach out to because
or
it
maybe who
changed.
should be on my bus.
Yes, you got it.
Oh,
you got
my
it.
goodness.
You got it.
Again, wow, I took two great things away from
Yeah.
today. So today was really awesome already. I love that. Okay, one word and who's on my bus. Those are
Energy
the two
bus.
things that I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna take advantage of as well. So thank you for that little bit. I think there's before we move on, I think that there's something that's kind of important. Who you are today is obviously very different than who you were 10, 20, 30 years ago. We get it. But if you had to say something to yourself when you were starting your career at 18 years old, what would you tell your 18-year-old self today? Because
Well-
hindsight's 2020.
No, I agree. I agree. And thinking about the Joe at 16, I thought I had a lot of everything figured out. And
Doesn't everybody at 16? Don't all 16-year-olds?
I'm sure a lot of our listeners would attest to that, right? I would say my biggest piece of advice would be to really listen and learn from everyone around you. One of my personal goals daily is to use the resources that I have in front of me. I mean, one of the ones I do now is with my iPhone. You can actually add a widget, and I can pick that widget just to relay me small business news every day.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
I would like Joe in the past to know that, because I think there's a lot of resources from every different angle that are coming at us. And we always heard in the past, make sure it's a reputable source. And I agree with that. But I think now, because of social media and the ability to network virtually, there's so many people who have like minds that when they talk and share, it resonates with me, and I need to open up and be more willing to take that information in. And then what do I do with it once I learn it? That's the other component is don't be quiet. Don't sit on it. Just because you know it doesn't mean that the person next to you does, or the person, your neighbor, or even
And
a
they
small
might
business.
need to know it.
Exactly.
They might need to know it.
So be more willing to express what I know on a more consistent basis.
Wow. So it's important that when you're in a room with people to share. I know a lot of people are quiet. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not really for the camera. I'm not really for Zoom."
Oh, this is difficult. Trust me.
You notice? Yeah, I was gonna say we're taking you out of your comfort zone because you notice how a lot of people on Zoom they have their cameras off.
Yes.
Which we should do a whole webinar on Zoom etiquette. You cannot conduct a meeting that is an interactive meeting. It's different if it's like a listen, but an interactive meeting with your camera off. That's insane. So we should talk about that. But taking people out of their comfort zone a little bit, just a little bit, because when you get out of your comfort zone, you grow. Right? So I know that this isn't 100% comfortable, but you'll get used to it.
Well, and it's funny because I can get up and public speak, but
Sure, I was about to
I
say
just
that.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Joe, you're
and-
speaking
yeah.
at the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce
yeah.
national conventions with thousands and thousands of people.
I can do
and you're
that.
like,
That's easy.
La 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 la. You get up at gala with a couple thousand people. La 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 la. But then you're here like with one microphone and 2 people, and you're like,
Well, no audience to read. You know, am I saying the right things? Am I sharing the way I should
Hey,
be?
this is where people develop self-confidence,
There you
right?
go.
This is where you go, hey,
There you
I'm
go.
sure of myself. I know what I'm saying. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And if I mess up,
Own
I'll
it.
fix
Yeah,
it.
own it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oops, I didn't know that,
Yep,
you know? Because
exactly.
we can't know everything.
So it is a learning experience. I can do a room full of thousands of people, but get me in front of just a camera and a mic, and it's a whole new ballgame.
No, it's kind of funny. When I was sitting with JP last week for the first time, we were doing a lot of jokes. We had a lot of back and forth, but we were laughing because it was the same concept. It was like, wow, it's like crickets. You know, it's just us, and we're used to audiences. Even on Zoom, right? You have an audience through a webinar.
Yeah, I feed off that. So
Yeah, and a lot of us like that.
Yeah.
A lot of us like that. It's a way. When you can read an audience, you are better at public speaking because you know which direction to go and what to do. But it's kind of the same here.
It is.
Just go with the flow. You know, we have a list of some questions to help us get through the time, bullet points so we don't forget. But it's the flow. It's the flow. So we're learning about ourselves today. I like that. So let's talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things during this COVID time, we Netflixed a lot. Hulu, Netflix, whatever it is that you use. So let's talk about what binge watching Joe Trimble does.
Yeah, right. So I'm laughing because my daughter's she could have picked this one, but I'm a Friends fan, so
Friends, okay.
it's something I can have on in the background.
Pivot.
There you go.
Pivot.
Yep. There you go. Friends, and that word, it comes up often,
Pivot.
right? But I like that. I like that show because I can have it on in the background. I love music, but when I'm listening to music, especially if it's new, it takes my mind off of what I'm trying to concentrate on, and for some reason I can have that show on and I can still function and do what I need to do.
I'm a much better TV in the background around the house
Same.
worker than music.
Same, yeah. I don't know why.
At night, I don't mind a radio on or my phone on whatever, Spotify or whatever
I
I'm
usually
listening
use music to wind down, but TV to kind of relax.
Even at night, I fall asleep with the TV on. I'm
Yeah.
a TV person.
Same.
I like the TV on at all times. It's just a thing.
Well, even when I was doing travel before airlines and it was doing the state, driving a lot, I even did podcast and books versus music. Not that I don't love music. It was just my brain needed that to have something to focus on. So.
Well, it's kind of funny now. I find myself when I'm driving because we have Bluetooth in our car. I can put the Hulu on or whatever I'm watching on my phone, and it sits in the little space where my screen is for my thing, and it's perfect. So it's like a little TV in my car, and I can drive, and it that's what I like. Yeah. So I'm a TV person. I like that. So let's say that Joe Trimble was going to have a movie.
The tough question.
A movie of his life made about him. What movie would it be? Would it mimic? And who would play you? Now, I know the answers that I would pick for you.
Yeah. I may need some help here because this one I struggled a little with.
Okay.
When I think about my life and, what I learned, it would have to do something with lessons and being something that we're taught and, something that we're provided. So I'm going to turn it to you. You can help me pick this out, Shannon.
So the movie that would mimic to me is Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
Okay. Because that's a lot of your personality. You're driven. You go for it. You don't mind failing to succeed, which I think is a huge lesson for small businesses and small business owners in our community and all over. But I like the lesson in that movie. Now, when it comes to who would play you, I'm curious as to who you would say, but for me, it is all about Conor McGregor. That's my guy in general.
Yep.
But this whole in your stature and everything. You're a little Connor-ish.
Yeah. No, I
You
can see
you
it.
and Rob Zur, when Rob Zur
Yes.
is slicked back like you guys.
Yeah, I agree. Connor would be a good one. Kevin Bacon. I've been told I look like him too.
Bacon.
So
Maybe without
yeah,
your
without the facial
without
hair.
the
Yeah.
facial hair.
Yeah. But those would be two I'd choose. Yeah,
I
definitely.
like it. Okay, that's cool. That's kind of fun. So you don't have a movie for yourself though? A movie that?
Nothing. I mean, life-wise, that would relate. I mean, just thinking about how I grew up, I definitely say Sandlot. If anyone's ever seen that,
God,
The
yes.
Goonies. I think my crew of friends that I hang out with.
I want to know which character my brother is.
Right. Oh, both of them play in that movie for sure. But
Chunk.
yeah, but you know what I mean. It's those two to me. One is camaraderie and friendship. The Sandlot.
Sandlot.
And having fun, which is I'm a big for. And then Goonies. It's about finding that mystery in life and what do we want to do and how do we want to get there, and maybe we have to follow a map, but maybe we have to deviate from that map. And I feel like that's kind of where my life has gone.
You know what, that's
those would be two I'd pick.
That's so awesome that you said that, because the other lesson in Goonies is, yes, what is the mystery in life, but the reason behind why they followed that
Family.
mystery was for family.
Yes.
Right?
And
So
that-
it's just,
you know me.
it's very powerful movie. Of course, when you're, a little kid and you're watching it, it's just cool.
But how
as you
cool a
get-
kid solved their family's problems.
Yeah,
I mean, that to me is a big deal.
But now as you're older, I mean, I could literally watch Goonies
Oh yeah,
every day. I mean, just
I'm close to about once a month.
yeah,
at
every
least.
day. It's one
I
of
love
those
that it's on
movies.
TV more.
I
So.
love Goonies. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, pretty exciting. So, I have some questions I want to ask you. I want to get to know you a little bit better. And these are just one-word questions. If you need a second to think about it, take your time. But these are kind of fun because it's to kind of get to know you. Want everybody to kind of go, oh, when they see Joe, that's his favorite coffee place. That kind of thing. So, speaking of coffee, where is your favorite place to go grab? Do you drink coffee or tea?
Yeah,
Here's the
Red
question.
Bull.
Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings.
Yes, definitely do Red Bull.
Red
If I
Bull's great.
if I don't, I have some of my favorite locals that are here, Grinding Gears and a couple others. But I like Starbucks, Dutch Brothers. I know they're the bigger names on the street, but definitely do more Red Bull than coffee.
Got it. Red Bull. I like that. I'm more of tea, so that's very cool. So what's your favorite food?
I have to say pizza for sure.
Okay. So it doesn't matter what kind of pizza toppings.
Nope, thin, pan, deep dish, toppings.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I've worked at a pizza place, right? So I've seen everything from normal toppings to toppings you probably wouldn't guess on a pizza.
Sure.
And we're starting to see them. They're more mainstream now, but pickles and other things like that.
Taco
so,
pizza.
Yeah, you got it.
Yummy.
So pizza for sure. Favorite food.
Wow, pizza. Yeah, no, not for me at all. But that's cool. Dion's, I can imagine.
Yep. Still,
Still. So favorite sports team? Football, baseball, basketball? What kind of guy are you?
I'm a big basketball guy.
Have anything to do with your height?
Yeah, just a little bit. I played in school until some injuries took me out. But for professional, it's Houston Rockets. For college, Gonzaga. So
Very nice.
I was one of my dreams to go was to that school. So definitely still follow.
Wow, awesome. So I just because it's like, a couple days after Super Bowl, I just have to know, Brady fan or not a Brady fan? I get a lot of heat around here because I liked Brady even before Brady was Brady.
Yeah, I hear the little buzzer there. I am going to get buzzed as well because I would say Brady does have a very unique skill set, and you want to talk about someone who is stuck with their regimen and kept it going. I mean, come on, he's in his 40s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. But I am a Patrick Mahomes fan. I was rooting for the Chiefs more than the Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
So.
I think one thing that I really, I learned a lot about this weekend, did a lot of reading because there was a lot of haters out there, of course, and I was just thinking, the perseverance of this guy. The fact that he did this with a whole nother team after
Brand new.
20 years.
Yeah, brand new.
The fact
He's
that
not
he
18,
gathered
19,
he's
20,
not-
21.
Well, and the other thing is he gathered his Sandlot, right? I
He
mean,
did.
Gronk was back, and it was just pretty amazing to see how they all came together to make it happen. And so I just think, at any time in your life, the lesson is follow your heart, right? He had to go. He had to do what he had to do.
Trust you.
Trust yourself.
Yes.
That was the big thing. And so I think there was a huge lesson in this weekend.
Well, and you can see at the end, I don't know if you watched when they awarded the trophy, but he
Oh.
even handed it to his daughter.
His daughter, yeah.
I know.
I
I
was
mean,
just like,
that's pretty cool.
oh my
I know, that's
God.
pretty cool. I mean, and when he won
was
the playoff
crying.
game, he found his son in the stands,
Yes.
and made sure he went over there and said hi. And
Well, and I watched a really cool story a couple of weeks ago as they were leading up to it. They interviewed his dad, and his mom and dad have not missed a game in 20 years.
Crazy.
However, there was 2 games that they lost at the beginning of the season. The Bucks. His parents were in the hospital, both on ventilators with COVID.
So what was on his mind?
And so, how interesting to see those back-to-back games, and those are also the only 2 games that they've missed in 20 plus years.
See, it's crazy.
So it's amazing, that family. So we go back to that. So I thought there was a lot of lessons in that.
Definitely. And Patrick Mahomes, same thing. So for being new, I don't know if you saw what he said after he lost. He said, "This game will drive me for the rest of my career on what and who I want to be as not only a person but as a player." And I mean, he got a lot of heat for not putting up a touchdown. I mean, first time ever in his career to not score a touchdown. First time ever in his career to lose by that many points. I mean, that's hard stuff to recover from. So let's see next year.
Well, we're glad that he has the year,
I agree.
another year. We're not sure where Brady's at, so
No.
that's going to be but it was fun. It was really, really nice.
It was.
So, Google or Bing? This is an important question. Very important question.
I like Bing.
Interesting.
Yes. I like Bing, one, because my work computer, and when I open up a search bar, that's the first one to come up. So I've gotten a little used to it, right?
I have zero used to it.
I also like what it puts at the top of the list. It seems more of what I'm looking for. So I don't have to be so specific on Bing. I could be a little more vague in what I'm searching for, and I tend to still get to the result I'm looking for.
So it's interesting with Bing, I can't ever seem to find what I'm looking for. So I've tested the theory. I've Binged to get what I need, and I've Googled to get what I need. And 10 times out of 10, Google will get me what I need on that first page.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting. And I guess maybe I'm a creature of habit, which is weird because I'm very adjustable. But I am just not used to Bing.
Yeah, and I think it's
for
just
me.
trial and error. I mean, so Bing for me, it's front of mind, so I tend to use it more.
A friend of yours?
Yeah, it is a friend right now. Yes.
PC or Mac?
PC, but I am an Apple guy.
Okay.
So you've met my daughter. You know her. She's techie as well. So we're definitely Apple products in the home, but for work PC.
Yeah, I'm pretty. See, I think I am a little weird like that because I like my PC. As a matter of fact, I like my PC so much that it is completely broken and the whole bottom end is falling off. And everybody's always like, "Are you getting a new computer?" And I'm like, "No, I want this one."
The same computer. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
This one. Okay, so here's a great question. Who is your favorite superhero and why?
Oh, favorite superhero. I'm a big superhero fan.
So maybe a little bit of superhero in your background.
Yeah,
I get it.
My favorite superheroes, it's a group, the Fantastic Four.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Great.
So
Fantastic.
any one of
Fantastic.
them, I would not mind, especially
Interesting.
with the powers that they have.
So what would be your superhero power?
Ooh, I would have to say flying. I think that would be pretty neat to be able to not have to worry about transportation anymore.
Yeah, if you hate driving, that's actually a good one. I might have to consider that one. That's not mine, but I might have to consider
speed.
that.
I could see running too. I did a little
You did
running,
running in your day?
Yeah, a little running back in the day. That's not currently,
Not
but
so
yeah,
much
not now, but more it's walking now. So
So over the past year, like I said, spending a lot of time at home with the kiddo. You guys play board games?
we do, yes. We just got Mousetrap.
Mousetrap.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Oh
I
my
found
God,
it. I saw it.
Mousetrap. Where did you get that?
And my sister recently, which my daughter loves, just found Mall Madness. If you remember that way back, I know, way back in the day. No joke,
Jeez.
right? But again, Mousetrap, they had it on sale right after the holidays.
Yeah.
So
It's like the remake of the Mousetrap we played.
it is, yeah.
How crazy.
This was still just as hard to put up. So it didn't get any easier.
It's probably harder.
I promise you, it did not get any
now.
easier. Yeah.
I love that Mousetrap. That's awesome. Your favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, favorite movie. I mentioned a couple of them already, Goonies and Sandlot. I mean, I have to say probably Goonies.
Wow,
yeah,
I agree with you. It's definitely in my top 5.
Yeah, it's definitely one I watched probably more than others. I would also have to say if all the superhero
Of course.
movies. Yeah,
That's
so,
why I said, what's your favorite superhero?
Yeah, I've watched those numerous times as well. So
Wow, awesome. In other words, you could watch them over and over, never get
yeah,
old. You
Disney
just-
Plus. Yeah, I watch them in chronological order and
So
the order
funny.
they came
You
out
must be best
by
friends.
superhero.
You must be best friends with my brother
Oh,
because
yeah.
Disney Plus.
I think I got him a
seriously-
little hooked on it.
Oh, Disney Plus. It's like ridiculous. What are you doing? Watching Disney Plus? I'm like, what in the heck? You're a
Yep.
grown man. Why are you watching Disney
Yeah.
Plus?
Oh, Mighty Ducks. That may be another one
Oh,
up there
Mighty
too.
Ducks,
See, I have to
Emilio
go old.
Estevez.
I have to go old school movies. Yeah.
Mighty
Yep.
Ducks. I love it. I love it. Your favorite cold beverage by name and brand.
By name and brand. Cold. I mean, can we?
Can't just say beer.
I was gonna say, can I do alcoholic
You
beverages,
can't
or
just
is
say
it are
beer.
we doing
This is-
non-alcoholic?
Oh, this is a daytime show.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, if it
But
was
it's
after
5 o'clock somewhere, so
yes,
that's it.
yes. if it was before 5, I would say Dr. Pepper, definitely.
Dr.
I like soda,
Pepper.
so I'm a Dr. Pepper fan.
Don't you just love the Dr. Pepper commercials?
Yes, I do.
I mean,
do.
that little guy, I mean, he's just, yeah.
But Dr. Pepper for sure. If I'm in a cold beverage for lunch, I love it. After work, I'd have to say, of course, a beer. I like the La Cumbre beer.
Of course you do.
It's one of
And
my
let me
favorites.
guess, what's your favorite La Cumbre beer?
Beer. No, it's called
Oh,
beer.
B-E-E-R,
Yeah,
okay.
it's called beer.
Okay.
It's the La Cumbre beer.
Yeah, no, in the white can.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
Yep,
no,
yep.
I thought you
Yeah.
were saying
No,
La
not beer
Cumbre
in general. That-
B-E-E-R.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then my palate's been shifting a little bit.
I was
now
going
I'm-
to say, because I thought you were going to go with IPA
you
for
know,
a minute.
man, even beyond porters now, getting a little
Wow.
more. Yeah, getting a little more in the
Getting
porters.
a little fancy.
Um,
Going with that high class restaurant that you
Well,
wanted.
I have one of my breweries in Arizona does a
Fine dining.
peanut butter porter.
Oh,
So if you haven't had
peanut
a
butter.
peanut butter porter, it's
Wow.
pretty tasty. Tell you what.
Wow, that's interesting. Your favorite place to vacation?
San Diego, for sure. I know. The weather, I don't know what it is. The weather, the food, the environment. I think the sound of the waves, the moisture in the air, and growing up here, like you, we're in the dry climate. I like that little moisture, especially if I'm on a vacation.
So let me tell you what I love about San Diego. It's San Diego. It's the ocean, but it's not humid.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Yeah.
never humid.
Not
And I
Florida.
think it's not Austin.
Yeah, the Austin. Ooh.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
just killer. I'm
And
like,
there's not even-
even thinking about it, I'm getting a little weird.
I know, but even the oceans there's not really.
No,
I mean,
it's like,
they have more
what's up?
humidity than
It's
California
so
does
weird.
with the
No,
ocean
San
sitting on
Diego,
their coast.
absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
The weather there is absolutely beautiful. If you could have any car in the world, I know what I would have.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear what you have. Mine would be a 1953 Jeep Willys.
I was about to say, if you don't say Jeep, you and I are gonna
Yeah,
after this,
yeah.
'cause,
But I want one of the old school ones. You know,
Yes.
you've seen my current one, my rock crawler, but
I've
I would love one of the old ones. I had a chance to. One of my friends in the past lived in eastern New Mexico, and his grandpa had a couple of them, and we got to ride them around. And from that day forward, that's the vehicle I want. So.
I have seen your rock crawler. I've actually seen it upside down, on its right side, on its left side. We've had great times in Moab for sure. Looking forward to getting back to Moab. That's something we didn't get to do this year for the first time in
I
how
know.
long?
I know. Last year,
It's like a
this year,
tradition.
I know your brother's already booked some days, so we're
Yeah.
going to be out there now. Whether or not Jeep Safari happens, who knows? But we're going to be there.
Yeah,
so
we're
not missing it again.
We're not gonna get to see you upside down, or we are gonna get to see it?
Maybe. Yeah, I gotta try to push it. Gotta push it.
We
so.
should take bids for who wants to ride shotgun with
Yeah,
Joe, because
yeah.
it is crazy time.
Well, and that's why we take it, right?
Crazy
Because the other
times.
ones are nice vehicles. So
Yeah, the
this
other
one
ones
is
we don't roll.
This one's meant to be pushed to its limits. So
Yeah, it's definitely a time for everybody. So if you
Right.
guys ever get out to Moab, we go every year, Easter weekend,
Yep.
and we have a blast.
Yeah, and
Hope
so
to see that again.
because she said I was upside down, I do climb out of things on often. So she's seen that as well. So
No.
don't let,
Oh, no,
don't,
not
I just don't.
always
Yeah,
upside down. Not always
it is
upside
fun
down.
when you do roll, though. I'll tell you what.
Not always upside down. I do have great videos, blackmail videos
Yes.
someday. I have to tell you, this is a really great question. What is your biggest failure in life?
It's hard to say failure. I would say
You might have learned from it,
Yes,
but-
yeah, an opportunity to learn more. I think came in my early years, just really looking at how my life was structured in a negative way. I grew up on the west side of Albuquerque in an environment where I was a single family household, and I always thought the odds were against me, when in reality I had the better core that even some of the people around me had. So I think that one really helped take appreciate what you have.
Sure.
Let's say that. I think I didn't appreciate enough in my early years.
Always hindsight, like I said, is always 20/20.
Which is turned now because appreciation can come in a variety of different ways.
So this is probably my second favorite question on this list. What is your favorite chamber program?
Program Avanzad. I'm gonna jump in and say that because we've had a lot to do with it, right? You and I. So Avanzad for sure, and I'm actually presenting tonight. So tonight's session 7 here.
Yeah, tonight
so
is
and I'm
session
actually
7.
now graduated 3 of these in the regions that
Oh,
I
my
support.
goodness. Congratulations, Joe Trimble. I have to tell you, we have about 1 minute to tell this story, but please tell us what happened on a plane from Albuquerque to Philadelphia many, many moons ago.
Yeah, we learned that there was not enough help for scalable businesses. And everything was geared more towards the startup.
Sure.
Not that we shouldn't, we should have those,
of course.
but what happens when they move from startup to now operating their business? And
Sure.
that's what I think you and I saw a gap around, and we needed to put some momentum behind it. And fortunately, we took it from 2. So this chamber proved that it works, and now have expanded to 7 cities. So
Yeah,
fingers crossed that we actually get more added in next year. So we're happy to be where we're at.
Well, we are thrilled, and we're so thankful to Wells Fargo for supporting, USHCC for supporting. We hope to continue. Avanzad is graduating probably another 10 solid, scalable businesses. You know, the first cohort closed very. You don't know. You're the pilot program. You're the first cohort. Every single one of those graduates on your first cohort are a success story.
Yeah.
I cannot wait someday
So
to get
interact
them
with
all
them.
on together.
I know we
We
should.
can share how much they've grown and learned and blossomed.
reunion show.
I think we need to do
Yeah.
a reunion show. It's pretty amazing, and they're
Yes.
inspirational in the community. So I can't wait for this cohort 2 that
Same.
graduates next month or so, to see what's going to happen
Yep,
to them in a
tonight's
year.
session 7. So.
I'm excited. So my favorite question of the hour: who is your favorite chamber podcast interviewer?
I'm Shannon Hawkins. That's it. We'll go with Shannon. I would love to do more of these, so maybe I could be that, and maybe I'll take over as my favorite. So.
I think that's important.
But Shannon
and I'm
Hawkins.
glad you brought that up.
This lady, I have to tell you, I've known, like she said, forever, and she's a remarkable person. So thank you, Shannon.
Well, thank you, and I hope that you can. It'd be fun. We'd love to have you guys coming in to do.
What
these
about interviewing our
fun interviews.
chamber employees?
Yeah, we
Maybe the
have
board interviewing them. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be so
Get
fun?
to know our team.
That's a great way to get
We'll
to know our
flip it,
team.
so.
Yeah. See, already
Look at
your
that.
chair-elect
Ideas.
duties are happening already.
Ideas. Because trust me, you want to know this team at the chamber. If you don't know them, you need to know them.
And we also want to know you as a board member, as a person in the community, a leader that is driving, us forward. So as we start to close out this hour, Joe, I want to know what is your favorite quote? What is something that keeps you going every day? What can we share with our listeners and our viewing audience a little bit about? What's your favorite quote?
Yeah, it's actually one that I use a lot with my team, and it's about finding that drive in you that makes you the most capable that you can be. And I look at capability in a unique way because we all do what we do on a regular basis, but what are you truly passionate about, and do you leverage that in everything you do? And for me, it's talking small business, living and breathing small business, and giving back to small businesses. You know me well. We've gone on visits to small businesses together. We were just at one last week.
Yeah.
We've been at one before the holidays,
Yeah.
one before that, and to me, that's what I feel like others can do more of, is be as capable as you can.
So I have to say, I'm not 100% sure that small business is everybody's favorite topic to talk about all the time, but I could definitely talk about it all day.
Yeah.
I could be on
I
all
literally
day
do talk about it
interviewing,
all day.
small business owners. What can we learn from them? What are the lessons? And I take something away from everybody I talk to. And so,
That's why my favorite event is Get Crafty.
yep.
I learn so much every time I sit in one of those.
Every time, Get Crafty. That is a huge, huge event for us. Thank you to you and Wells Fargo and a couple of 5 o'clock somewhere drinks where we came up with the name and the concept. And so it's been a ride, Joe, and I'm so excited that the next couple of years we're going to continue that ride with
Great.
you in this leadership role and with you continuing what you're doing in the community for small business. Our time is definitely up, but I want to say thank you to everybody out there watching live on Facebook, anybody that's listening. We've had a blast today getting to know our incoming chair, 2022 chair Chair-elect Mr. Joe Trimble from Wells Fargo. We're excited. Thank you again. So next week, don't forget to join us. We're going to be interviewing Miss Erin Gondara, who is our board treasurer. All of our business consultants, what I love about it, female owned. We're going to have some female power up in here next week.
Yes, love it.
Female owned business who has definitely done some adjusting, pivoting during COVID. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget to visit us at our Biz Gratis at the end of the month, the last Wednesday of every month. It's virtual for now, but anything you need to know about the chamber, if you want to learn more about Joe, you can simply go to the website, www.ahcnm.org. Click on your chamber, go to the board, and you can click on Joe's little icon, and you can get more information about him, how to connect with him as well. If you have a book you think he should read, or you have a comment you want to leave him, that's a great way to connect. And then, of course, you can view everything from our PPE program to our community calendar. And, of course, if you want to rewatch this podcast or any of the ones that are going to be coming up in the future since we just started, it's our website, again, ahcnm.org/chamber chat. So I want to thank you, Joe. Thank you to the staff that's sitting behind me here, the elves behind the scene, Miss Angelique, and of course, thank you to our board chair this year, Mr. J.P. Espinosa, our president, Ernie C. DeBaca. We have had such a great time, and most important, thank you to our sponsor, PNM. We could not do this without you guys. So everybody have a great day. We're going to see you next Tuesday.
This is Shannon Jackson with PNM. I have some really good news for the small businesses in our community. We know there are many still struggling to make ends meet with this pandemic, and PNM wants to help you. The PNM COVID Customer Relief Fund helps eligible customers pay down or possibly even pay off your past due PNM bill. In fact, we actually just increased the amount of assistance to $500 for small businesses and nonprofits that are behind on their electric bill. This is especially if you are a small business owner in the restaurant, retail, hospitality, leisure, or entertainment industry, or if you offer services through things like salons, massage therapy, or small automotive garages, things like that. If you need help paying your past due PNM bill, apply online at pnm.com/help or contact us at 855-364-2950. That's pnm.com/help for all the details and to also apply, or you can call us at 855-364-2950. The deadline to apply is March 31st, though. So we care about you, our community, and we really just want to provide you with every dollar of financial help that's available.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the Power Up by PNM podcast hour in partnership with the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. And again, a big shout out to our sponsor, the folks at PNM, who help keep your businesses energy efficient. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday at noon to hear from those in the community that are moving us forward. And for more information about the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce, call us at 842-9003 or visit us online for more information at www.ahcnm.org, and to replay this podcast, add a /chamber chat.